is good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. The movie I'm reviewing today was recommended by K Jones 92. It is currently available for streaming on Hulu if you have the Stars add-on, or you can do what I did and sign up for the Stars 7-day free trial. There will not be any spoilers in this video. Crooklyn is produced and directed by Spike Lee and stars Delroy Lindo, Zelda Harris, and Alfre Woodard. They are part of the family of Carmichaels who live in 1970s Brooklyn, where the movie takes place. In a very tight-knit community, they live in a brownstone. It's a family of 7, so you have 4 boys, our main character Troy, who is where the coming-of-age story comes in, and then mom and dad played by Alfre Woodard and Delroy Lindo. Mom is kind of the bad guy. She's strict, loving, but she's the one that says no, making you eat your dinner. And dad is just kind of he's the more fun of the two, one you can probably more easily go to. He's a struggling musician. And then you got 4 boys. When this girl, our main character Troy, played by Zelda Harris, is in the phase of her life where she's becoming a woman, which is challenging enough when you're in that phase of your life where you're going into adulthood, when you're experiencing different things, that phase of your life where you're transitioning from a kid to a young adult type thing. And that's not easy, growing up in a house of boys with all that male crazy energy going on. The family has such a good vibe and such a tight-knit, loving feeling. They are a middle-class, working-class family. The dad, he's a struggling musician, and you know, mom's doing the best she can. She teaches and she's trying to balance everything out. She does the cooking every night. But the family, they just feel like a family. And I feel like this movie is semi-autobiographical. I feel like Spike Lee cribbed a lot from his life in this movie, being he grew up in Brooklyn. I feel like he's the older boy. Troy is the I would say second from oldest, but she's going through that phase in her life where, you know, mom doesn't just give her anything. She's not the sweet little girl anymore. She kind of has to do things on her own. She has friends. She spends a summer in Virginia, which I think is the most crucial part of the movie, when she spends the summer with her family in Virginia, where she realizes how much she loves Brooklyn, how much she loves home. This movie is very New York. You feel the New York vibe, you feel the New York energy, and you feel the struggle that she's going through as a person, and the different trials and tribulations that she is having to face as a person becoming a woman, especially, like I said, living in this household full of all this male energy going on. Like I said, it's a very tight-knit family. They love each other. They eat dinner together every night. Now, because a lot of these movies I watch with these coming-of-age stories, dad isn't around. You know, dad is absent. So it was so nice to see mom and dad there, and how they eat together every night, how all the kids watch TV. They watch the Partridge Family, they watch Soul Train. The oldest boy, Clinton, who I feel like is based on Spike Lee, watches the Knicks. And you know, they're just struggling, just trying to do the right thing for each other. And it's such a hard balance, but the community is also looking out for them right away. So going into some things I really like about the movie, right away from the beginning, there's a great song. I think it's a Stylistics, People Make the World Go Round. I made sure I noted it when it ran through the credits. Great setting. Spike Lee does a great job with opening and ending credits, which are both really good in this movie. I know it's an underrated part of a movie, but I always like the opening credits. It kind of sets the tone, and the ending credits set kind of like, it's like a cool down period for you to kind of process what you just watched. So Spike Lee does a great job with the music on both ends there. Like I said, the family vibe is so, like I said, it feels like a family. Obviously, they give each other a hard time. The boys, they make fun, they tease, they have a good time. But when they experience a very tough time in their life, they all come together, and they all, you see at that point that they are tight, that they are a group, that all like the teasing and stuff is just a part of growing up. The movie feels very New York. Spike Lee obviously knows how to get the New York vibe, the New York energy down cold. And he grew up in Brooklyn, so this movie's in Brooklyn. So that's a world unto itself. I've only been to Brooklyn 1 or 2 times in my life, but you can feel it's its own place and it's its own environment. And I can imagine in the 70s, it was even more tight-knit. You got different cultures, you got different backgrounds, you got different people, and they all kind of give each other a hard time here and there, you know, throwing garbage around, going to the store, stealing, going through that phase of your life when you're a kid. And the story of Troy, which is our main focus, he does a great job. I feel like his sister might have helped him co-write this, because it is a coming-of-age story of a girl, and his sister Joy Lee, I think, co-wrote the movie, if I'm not mistaken, when I read the credits. So I loved the, like I said, the coming of age story of this little girl. But the central focus, I always like a relationship between mom and daughter, or mom and son. Nothing wrong with dad and son relationships. I'm not dismissing that, but because I was raised by my mom, I always gravitate toward those relationships. And I feel like the mom, played by Alfre Woodard, who does a fantastic job. All the acting in this movie is great. Alfre Woodard, Delroy Lindo, Zelda Harris does a great job as a young actress. She was also in Spike Lee's movie, He Got Game. That's where I initially recognized her, because I've seen that movie many times. So all the acting, Isaiah Washington has a nice little spot in the movie. But anyway, what I was saying, the main focus being that relationship between the daughter and mother is so well done. You feel that she knows that her daughter is going through a tough time in her life, and which said, like I said, the one point in the movie, she sends her off to go spend the summer and some time with her family in Virginia. And then, like I said, it makes her appreciate, when you're away from home, you don't realize how much you miss home, how much you miss those people and the community you grew up in and your friends. He does a great job at that feeling. Again, like I said, great job with New York. Music, I'm positive on the music for the most part, although I feel like Spike Lee overused some of the hits. I mentioned this when I've reviewed Now and Then, where you kind of just become reliant on the hits. And he does, I don't know why he didn't do more of his like jazz and jazz type score in here, because the dad is a jazz musician. I would have liked to have more jazz music in there. I'm a little bit neutral on it. I did like the music, especially the book ending of the beginning and the end, and how he used Soul Train at the end. I really like that. But yeah, I would have liked him to do more of his jazz and jazz score in there, mix that. I know it's not Mo Better Blues. I know it's not a music specific movie, but I just would have liked that. But yeah, all the acting across the board is great. New York vibe did perfectly. I don't really have any complaints or issues with the movie. I like the story, wasn't too long. It's about 2 hours long. But again, great feeling. It's a very much a feel-good movie. It does get a little bit sad toward the end, but you know, that's natural. But the point of the sadness going on is to bring the family together. And like I said, you get a sense of family, a sense of community. Even the neighbors that you hate, when you're going through something, they're there for you. Everybody's feeling it in one way or another, and it gets very emotional toward the end of the movie. So I feel like the tone was very positive, very uplifting. This is one of his more personal movies, I feel like. I'm going to tell a little story about Spike Lee in a second. But yeah, this is a very personal, very emotional movie. I love the family story. And like I said, I love the central point of the mother and daughter relationship, and mother preparing daughter for the rest of her life. And so I absolutely recommend the movie, if that wasn't apparent. So going to a little Spike Lee story. He's the only famous person I've ever met in my life. So in about, I think 2009, in like the spring, the DVD for his movie Miracle at St. Anna was coming out, and I don't know how I found out. I was online for some reason, and I ran across it that he was going to be at the Borders Books and Music. Now they're out of business now, but they used to be a nice, cool little bookstore, music store, had movies and stuff like that where I live. So I saw that was going on, so I was like, can I bring anything else? But they were like, no, you kind of have to buy the DVD and get that signed. So it was cool. So I do have my Spike Lee signed DVD to Scott. So I was in line going to see him. Now I just really got into movies, especially when I was in college. I always loved movies, but when I was in college, I really dived in. I had a lot of time alone to myself. When I was studying, I'd watch a lot of movies. So Spike Lee's always been one of my favorite filmmakers. He takes me into a world that I'm familiar with, but I'm not familiar with. He's very tapped into the black community, black history, New York. He's very good at showing everything that he loves and has a passion for. So I always liked him. So I'm standing in line, I'm like, everybody's just probably, what am I gonna say to him? I'm only gonna have like 10 seconds, which I did. So everybody's gonna say, oh, I love your movie. What am I gonna say? So he likes the Yankees. I like the Yankees. So I asked him real quick when I got up there. I was like, how do you think the Yankees are going to do? He was like, it's more like how A-Rod's going to do. Because A-Rod had always been like kind of a choke artist the last couple of years. So it was really cool that year. The Yankees got to the World Series. They won. And A-Rod had an amazing World Series. And more so the championship series before. Anyway, A-Rod was an integral part in that. So I thought him saying that when I met him was super cool. He was at one of the games. Obviously didn't remember meeting me from a hole in one. He meets thousands of people. But it was a really cool experience for me. Meeting, he was the only famous person I ever met. I'm very weird about meeting famous people, athletes, anybody like that. So I'm glad the one experience I had was very positive. He was very cool. It was very quick. But I understand he had, you know, he had to move the line along. But yeah, very cool. I love Spike Lee. I love all his movies. Again, underrated thing he does, beginning and end credits. If anybody, if you don't typically watch the end credits of a movie, try doing it. It's something that I've learned to do. I forget who taught me to do that. I was watching some video, some director talking and said, you know, make sure you stay there for the end credits. Not only just to appreciate everybody that put work into the film, but also it's like a nice cool down period. And Spike Lee does a really good job. I think 25th Hour is the best example of that. That was his first movie, first New York 9/11 movie, post 9/11. So again, yeah, great movie, great recommendation. I saw this movie a while back, but it was kind of in passing, so it was very nice to watch it again and absolutely sit down and absorb it. So Kay Jones, thank you for recommending it. I had a great time with Crooklyn. Guys, thank you again for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care, be well, and have a great rest of your day.